What's going on, family? There are big shifts happening in the Maryland market. There's a lot of headlines out like buyers are canceling more contracts than ever. And many people are asking, what is the perfect time to buy or sell? Look, if you listen to the headlines, you will miss out on an opportunity we haven't seen since the pandemic. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Dewitt. I am the go-to agent in the Central Maryland area. Welcome to the number one, or I guess I should say soon to be number one, YouTube channel regarding Maryland real estate in the world. Real quick, that starts with you. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. New videos come out every single week. Now, let's get right into it. There are big shifts happening in the Maryland market and really in real estate markets across the country. First off, we've all heard that the Fed cut rates. Now, many people think that's a one-to-one relationship with interest rates. However, mortgage rates are their own backed entity. So Fed cutting rates actually affects every other interest rate across the country, but does not directly affect mortgage rates. Now they're correlated, but not directly affected. A 30-year fixed mortgage interest rate is about 6.375 or so. Fannie Mae is expecting that to drop to about 6.1 by the end of 2025, which could mean we could be seeing rates in the low fives leading into the next year. What does that mean, right? That's a bunch of numbers, bunch of mumbo jumbo. How does it actually relate to you? For example, if you bought a $300,000 house at a 7% rate, or if you bought it at a 6% rate, you would save about $197 a month, and that's about $70,900 over the life of the loan. Now, if I said if you buy this house after 30 years, I'll hand you almost $71,000. Would you take that house? Absolutely, you would take that house. Who wouldn't want to save that much money on their loan? So interest rates have a big effect on the price you pay per month on the loan. What's going on in the Maryland real estate market? Our market has struggled significantly due to the high mortgage rates, right? The local areas keep our job market very strong. And so the high rates don't really have a huge effect on our market, meaning there's a lot of folks that hold on to their house. There's a lot of folks that aren't buying because they don't really need to. They don't need to move. They don't need to sell. They have great rates, and we have a great job market. Now, I know it sounds weird saying that Maryland has a stable market and so it's struggling, but that's the truth. The high rates and the stable market mean that people aren't really looking to do anything in real estate. So there's no flow of money or population inside of the community. Our market has struggled a lot during the high interest rate times because the local areas such as DC and Northern Virginia keep our job market very strong. And even in Baltimore, where you have great healthcare, school systems, and tech jobs, it keeps our job market so strong that there's not a lot of influx or efflux of population and money throughout the real estate market. Now, I know it sounds weird to say that our market is struggling because we're so stable, but it's that stability that prevents any government regulation locally to help out with the rates. That makes sellers on the fence. We all remember the time back in 2020 and 2021 where people could get a 2.8 or a 3% rate. And now a lot of sellers don't want to give that up to get a 7% rate. The numbers just don't add up for them. It doesn't make sense. The math ain't mathin', family, right? So sellers are on the fence. Now, as that gap gets smaller, as rates start to come down, they start to make sense a little more, right? These sellers, they want to downsize, they want to upgrade, they want more space, they do want to move, but it just doesn't make sense to get such a high rate. As rates come down, now more and more sellers are off the fence. Sellers on the fence has kept inventory low. Now, what does that exactly mean? For example, if there were no new houses to come on the market, right, and all the houses that are on the market now sold, we would have about 2.5 months of a steady rate of houses being sold, when a normal market sits at about 6 months worth of supply. So yeah, our inventory is super low, again, because the job market is strong. People don't really need to move. They may want to move, but there's not a heavy need. And so inventory is low, which makes buyer demand low because sellers have all the power, right? They don't need to negotiate as hard. And so the influx of property sales has really been pretty stale throughout Maryland. Interest rates are not the only thing that are causing people to want to sell. Federal job cuts are happening all over, right? And again, we're very close to DC where that is very prominent. This is likely to push a lot of people to sell. Again, the strong job market in Maryland and Baltimore has what's kept people on the fence. But now that that job market isn't looking as strong, people are more likely to sell. Now, hold on to that and make sure you stay till the end because I'm going to say something that kind of contradicts that. However, the federal jobs, we're seeing a lot of folks decide to sell and put their house up on the market because they don't have the job security that they once had. I know all of you are asking, well, Tay, what is the perfect time to buy or sell? That's what this video is about. Finding that sweet spot before all the mass buyers and sellers come to the market, but also not getting hit with these crazy high interest rates and low inventory. We're going to get into that in just a second. First, I want to go over the two big shifts that will make the difference between people that win in this upcoming market and the people that miss out because they waited for the perfect time. The first of the shifts is the federal employment migration effect. Now, that's just a long word to say there are areas that are predominantly lived in by federal employees. As these federal job cuts happen, it causes those people to move out, and these areas see a new population of jobs in the area. When federal employment migration happens, these areas are likely to see a temporary dip in prices. However, those that are able to see the gold mine there know the long-term effects of it, especially when you find an area that has strong basics for growth, right? Such as solid amenities. They have good schools and stable roads. They have a diverse job market. These places are likely to always grow in value because the stability and the basics are there. So even though there is a temporary dip in prices, the appreciation is going to be very steady. And the people that are able to find these areas and capitalize on that opportunity are going to be the ones that win. Secondly, infrastructure improvements. Now, there's a lot of commercial real estate that boosts properties incredibly, especially in industrial real estate, things like factories and large scale office buildings. Those increase property value tremendously. And secondly, they normally increase jobs. If you make a gigantic office building, well, then you're more likely to hire a bunch of people to work in that office building or at least lease out the offices, and that creates jobs, which makes a much better job market, which brings more income to the area, which makes more people want to buy a house in the area. Now, I know that was a mouthful. Think of it like this. If people are making more money, they want houses. If people want houses, more people want to sell. Okay, so it's supply and demand, right? Now I know again that we said that there's a federal job cuts happening. However, Maryland did add about 2,300 jobs in early 2025. I think about April we added about 2,300 jobs to the market. That means more people have job stability, more people want to buy. Now, combine an increased demand with great price appreciation and folks moving out, that makes for a very happy homeowner. And that homeowner can be you. And very happy homeowners also leads to very excited buyers because they see the opportunity of getting in these high growth areas, these places that are appreciating, where people are moving out and the market is shifting. So if you want to be a happy homeowner and a happy buyer, you need to stay to the end of this video. Now, if any of this is confusing you, please reach out. My information will be somewhere on the screen and down in the description below. You need to understand these things clearly and plainly if you're going to capitalize on the opportunity. If this is confusing and you're not quite wrapping your head about it, send an email, book a call with us. We'll explain it in plain English until you get it. And real quick, if you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's get this to the #1 Maryland YouTube channel in the world. And that starts with you. Really appreciate the support. I know you all are still at the edge of your seats wondering what is the right time to move. Whether you're a seller or a buyer, people want to know what is the perfect timing of the market. And there are some people that think they know that, oh, well, I just have to wait for interest rates to keep coming down. Well, everybody's waiting for interest rates to keep coming down. So if everybody's waiting and then they finally come down, that increases competition. More competition increases prices. Think back to the pandemic, 2020, 2021, where yeah, you could get a low rate, but people had to go $10,000 and $20,000 above asking price to win the house that they wanted. Not everybody has the means to do that. Not everybody has the means to compete like that. And if you're going way above asking price, you are risking a loss of appreciation. There's no telling what's going to happen in the market, and now you possibly just overpaid for the house. Sellers are also wondering the same thing, right? What's the perfect time to sell? Well, I just need to wait for the market to boom. I need to wait for interest rates to come down and more people to want to move out. Well, if you wait for everybody to sell, it's again, you're waiting for your competition to catch up with you. You're letting your competition see the cheat sheet that you have, right? And get the same score as you. Now you're competing. Sellers, you're going to lose your power if there is a huge influx in inventory, because buyers can just go down the street and get the same house for cheaper. Don't lose your negotiating power waiting to perfectly time the market. All that to say, now is the perfect time. Sellers, you need to move right now. Don't wait for other sellers to catch up and hear the information, hear the inside scoop that I'm giving you right now. And then you have to compete with a bunch of homes right there in your neighborhood. Buyers, the same is true for you. Now is the time to be gearing up to get that new home before the competition increases, before you have to compete against 20, 30 different offers to win the house you want. Now you have the power. Now is the time to gear up and buy or sell. In this upcoming market, the buyer and the seller that move early are going to be the ones that are the happiest, not the one that waits for the perfect market and is trying to perfectly time the housing bubble. Because if everybody's waiting for the perfect time, now you're competing against everybody. Why not get a 200 and 300 meter head start in a foot race, or wait for everybody to start so you have a fair chance? No, take your head start, family. Now is the time. Don't worry about getting the lowest rate. You can always refinance later. If rates continue to drop, you're not going to miss out on good rates, but you will miss out on good prices. Sellers, you'll miss out on selling for more. Buyers, you'll miss out on things like buyer concession, home warranties, and strong negotiation power when you're buying your house. Do not wait for the perfect market. Right now is your perfect market. If you wait, this opportunity will pass you by. And then we're going to get a bunch of questions, just like 2020 and 2021, where people say, well, how am I supposed to win this house? I've put in 12 offers and I've lost. Well, yeah, you let the opportunity miss you. Was that video helpful? Did I miss any information? Is there anything that you need more information on? Leave it in the comments. Reach out to us. Again, my information will be on screen somewhere in the description below. Really appreciate your support. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. New videos coming out every single week. And as always, have a fantastic day.